So I was reading this news article from the Washington Examiner. It's written by a guy named Eddie Scarry, I think is how that's pronounced. Got two R's in it. But the title of the article is Andrew Yang's free $1,000 per month welfare scheme was tried in Mississippi. The results were not a surprise. And the article says Andrew Yang's promise to give every American $1,000 per month if he were elected president is only a geeky gimmick. I just started reading the article and he's already trashing on the idea. Let's go ahead and keep reading the article to see if he actually has a good reason why. But if you're curious about how more welfare just like that would end, the Washington Post has a mostly fantastic story explaining it all. The paper last week reported on a Mississippi-based nonprofit that gave away $1,000 per month, no strings attached, to low-income black single mothers living in public housing. Initial results of the experiment were on display at a meeting held after 1 month of payments. Some of the women talked about their gift-filled Christmases and sported new hairstyles. Some said they took a sick day for the first time. They began paying off overdue electricity bills and high-interest loans. Well, it sounds like that extra money they're getting is actually helping them out in a noticeable way. Those are pretty promising results. Kira Johnson, a social worker, asked how much money the women have saved. I blew all of it, Gray recalled. It only took a weekend. Most of the women said the same thing. In a month, nearly all the money had vanished. Then, they asked if we were going to hand them the next check, Johnson said. Then Eddie goes on to say, wow, it's almost as if people who are given a bunch of money without having earned it, and without any conditions attached to it, feel less of a sense of responsibility in how they use it. Is there something irresponsible about paying off electric bills and high-interest loans? The story went on to say that the women were largely clueless about saving money, using banks, and developing good credit. For that, they needed to get more guidance and support. Democrat terms for more programs. So Eddie Scarry seems to think that these low-income earning women should be saving their $1,000 per month instead of spending it. Eddie, I think you're missing the point of giving people $1,000 per month. The point is, hey, here's an extra $1,000 per month that you can spend however the hell you want to. Oh, you got an electric bill? Hey, this can help cover it. After 6 months, the number of women in the group who were working hadn't changed. 15 had been employed at the start, and 15 remained employed at the end. Of the ones who did have jobs, they were not making much more money than the women who were not attached to the workforce. Well, if the study is covering specifically low-income earners, then there's no reason why the people who do have jobs would be bringing in much more money than the people who don't have jobs. Let me put it this way. I work at a pizza restaurant that pays $13 an hour, and it's only like a few hours each shift. I did some math recently and figured out that my financial situation would actually be better if I was on welfare and food stamps instead of working a few hours a week at this shitty job. But I can't actually qualify for those programs because I've got too much money in the bank. That said, since I am in debt and I got like bills to pay and I'm only working a few hours a week, my checking account is currently doing this. Right. At this rate, I'm going to run out of money at some point unless I get more hours or start getting given $1,000 per month. And that's coming from a guy who mostly only spends his money on the necessities of an urban lifestyle. Food, rent, gas, the various bills, whatever. Poverty is a real problem and probably one that will never be solved. Well, certainly not with that attitude. Least of all by giving money away to people who are in it. The geeky $1,000 per month gimmick was tried in Mississippi, and this proves it. Yeah, I don't think a 6-month trial is really enough time to say with certainty that giving people money couldn't solve poverty. I mean, it sounded like they had debts they needed to pay off. Actually, that might help explain why they're in poverty in the first place if they got thousands of fucking dollars in debt to pay off, which might take more than 6 months to completely pay off. Don't get me wrong, I'm not actually a huge proponent to the idea that giving everyone $1,000 per month is necessarily going to put a stop to poverty. I think what would be more effective is to render the monetary system obsolete by constructing new automated self-sustaining cities all over the world where machines do all the jobs that nobody wants to do and everyone gets access to the things they need without a price tag because you don't have to pay machines. In such a system, you would not be considered impoverished for not having a bunch of money coming in because you'd still have access to the luxuries. But it's going to take a really long time to get all those automated self-sustaining cities constructed all over the world, and people are already losing their jobs to technology, and universal basic income was already a good idea even before people started losing their jobs to technology. So I think it's a good transitional plan. We should definitely implement a universal basic income, whether it can solve poverty or not. It can really help smooth the transition from where we are now to where we will be in the future. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, that you're right that never in a million years would giving people money put a stop to poverty. Well, that doesn't change the fact that it still has a lot of potential to really improve the quality of life for a whole lot of people, and that includes impoverished people especially. I mean, if I was being given an additional $1,000 per month on top of what I'm earning at my job, I think that would equate to me bringing in enough money that I'd finally feel comfortable moving out of my mom's house and getting my own place, which could really noticeably improve my quality of life. Now, I want to clarify, I do think it is possible to comfortably live on an income of only $1,000 per month, like even without, a job bringing in extra money on top of it. But you're not going to do it living in like luxury urban homes, connected to, gas, plumbing, electric, with your internet connection and all that stuff, cable TV, etc. Right? You're not going to do it in luxury on the grid living. But one of the things that Yang wants to do when he's president is to kind of relax some of these zoning laws, to free up more land for people to go construct new houses on. And this should theoretically, well, there's actually already people who are building like really cheap homes off the grid, that they're using like solar panels, wind turbines, stuff like that. They don't have to pay an electric bill or a plumbing bill. They got like a compost toilet instead of a flush toilet, right? So it's possible to build like really cheap off the grid homes. What a lot of people have been doing is they'll like buy a shipping container. You can get a new one for less than $3,000. I've seen a used one going for less than $2,000, and you might even be able to get them for less than that. It's just that's the cheapest I've found so far. But yeah, it's not that uncommon for people to convert a shipping container into a home. They add like windows, doors, and they turn it into a really nice, cozy looking home. It looks like a real house, But of course, there are other options available, even cheaper than a shipping container. You can get a pretty good sized shed for just hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. It's kind of a smaller type of home, but that's something that's actually trending right now. There's all sorts of people who are building these tiny homes out in the wilderness off the grid, hook them up to solar panels and stuff, and they actually wind up being cool little homes. Not that Yang is trying to encourage everyone to quit their jobs and go live in these tiny off the grid homes where they can comfortably live on $1,000 per month. Actually, part of the reason it's only $1,000 per month is so that people are still incentivized to keep working, as long as that's an option that's still available, as long as the machines haven't taken all the jobs, right? And let's face it, a lot of people are not going to want to have to deal with building their own house. In conclusion, I personally really want a universal basic income. I think it would really help me in a profound way. There's all sorts of people who would really help in a profound way. And Eddie Scarry seems like he's basically just grasping at straws, desperately trying to come up with something good against universal basic income. He just winds up failing. Those are my thoughts. I want you guys to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. If there's anyone that has a problem with anything I said here, hopefully you can muster a better argument than to just thumb down the video. But that's it for this video, guys. I probably will do a follow-up video. There's this guy who did his own response to the same article, but he's like defending what the guy who wrote it is saying. So I think I need to respond to that guy. But that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other people. If you're interested in watching my future videos, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one. So have a good one, guys, and peace.
Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang.